Hello everyone, welcome back to a very impromptu Doctor Who news video, hence the Spider-Man gameplay. We've had a couple more details on the Centenary coming from a preview of Empire magazine that have Centenary coverage upcoming in their next issue. We have a brand new image of the Centenary special which seems to depict Jodie herself on some sort of cliff top type thing. And yeah, it's really interesting because the rumoured sort of place that the regeneration is set to take place is a cliff top. The rumour is either she's going to get pushed off it or fall off or just regenerate on a cliff top, and that's how we get to maybe something like Tennant. That's been the big rumour so far, and this kind of evokes that. I've seen some people say that it evokes more of the beach sort of vibe, because obviously there's been that thing of like, oh, you know, let's go to the beach, Doctor. There's been that sort of ongoing thread that kind of culminated in Legends of the Sea Devils, where, like, Yaz and the Doctor have a talk about their feelings or whatever. But to me, this much more evokes the sort of vibe of a sort of a cliff top, which makes sense for the rumoured regeneration sequence. And the reason I'm focusing on the regeneration predominantly when it comes to this image is because the image that accompanies this, it accompanies a small article which basically goes in depth about Jodie Whittaker talking a bit about the episode, and specifically the regeneration sequence. Also, I think an interesting point to note here is those weird, like, blue parts at the top of the image, which could denote all manner of things. They kind of put me in mind of, like, Cyberman, and sort of the gravelly area kind of reminds me of a less orange version of Gallifrey. Not saying it is Gallifrey, but my assumption would perhaps be that maybe the Cyberman ship has landed there, perhaps, or the Cybermen and the Cybermasters have just been defeated, and maybe the Doctor's looking out at the end, you know, defeated. Maybe the companions, she's dropped them all off, and she's come back to regenerate or something like that. Again, that's all speculation on my end, but in terms of the actual article itself, it reads, Jodie Whittaker says her massive Doctor Who finale is one for the Whovians, exclusive image. When you play the Doctor, it's always a matter of time, and for Jodie Whittaker, her TARDIS tenure is about to come to a close. After leading Doctor Who for 3 full series and the usual smattering of specials, the first female incarnation of the Time Lord will be bowing out in the upcoming installment, The Power of the Doctor, a 90-minute farewell also marking the end of showrunner Chris Chibnall's reign. The final adventure for any Doctor is always an event, but this one looks to be particularly huge, not only waving goodbye to Whittaker, but bringing back Janet Fielding and Sophie Aldred as legendary forward companions Tegan and Ace, and corralling a cavalcade of Who villains, Sacha Dhawan's the Master, the Daleks, and the Cybermen among them. It's one for the Whovians, Whittaker tells Empire in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever issue. It's a huge treat if you're a proper fan. It's got all the iconic things that you associate with Doctor Who. It's massive, and it sounds like this Doctor's final scene will be as emotional as ever. I love the dialogue that Chris wrote for My Regeneration, she says. So this is interesting because we're basically confirming that we are having a proper regeneration scene, which has kind of been something that's been up for debate. You know, I've seen some people speculate that it'll cut to black or something. We are at least, by the sounds of this, getting a proper speech, as has been kind of the tradition with New Who Doctors especially, going all the way back to, I guess, Smith was the one who really popularised it. Eccleston also had a speech, but I would say from Smith onwards, that's kind of been the traditional way of going out, because obviously, whilst Tennant did have a big long farewell, his final words were somewhat iconically just, I don't want to go. It captures my Doctor beautifully. It's simple, epic, and beautiful. It's a sequence Whittaker says is all delivered in one take, which is interesting. When I could see the crew was happy with the last shot, that was when my bottom lip started going, she recalls. I was like, well, they can't say they need another take now because I fucking lost it. So yeah, as you can probably tell, Jodie Whittaker, you know, it's an emotional scene for her being her last scene. And then, as always, an era of Doctor Who always hands over to the next one, with Russell T Davies, who restarted the show in 2005, coming back as showrunner for the 60th anniversary specials before kicking off a whole new run with a fresh Doctor in Sex Education's Ncuti Gatwa. It's inspired casting, says Whittaker, of the incoming Time Lord. He's gonna smash it. But for now, this is still Whittaker's world. Get ready to see how powerful her Doctor really is. And then you get a preview shot of the magazine itself, which is focusing on predominantly Wakanda Forever, the new Black Panther film. And then the full issue goes on sale 29th of September, and the Power of the Doctor will premiere on BBC One in October. So yeah, an interesting little note about the Centenary. Not something I was expecting to see just randomly drop today, but nice to see nonetheless. It seems like things are ramping up. Let me know what you guys think that image entails in the comments below. It's also, I believe, the first time we've had Jodie Whittaker fully acknowledge Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, what she thinks about him, how she thinks he's going to do and stuff, which is always nice to see. It's kind of a common practice between the Doctors, you know, to basically wish their successor good luck and say that they're going to be great or whatever like that. Yeah, a very interesting article. Hopefully there'll be more details with the rest of Empire magazine in the coming weeks. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you do, please. This was a very impromptu thing, but if you did enjoy my thoughts, then feel free to subscribe. Like if you do, and I'll see you later. Goodbye, everyone.